Leafy greens, such as spinach, lettuce, kale, and many others, have long been celebrated for their nutritional benefits. However, their positive impact extends beyond our plates, as these vibrant vegetables play a crucial role in promoting a sustainable environment. In this article, we will explore the significance of leafy greens and how they contribute to a healthier planet. Carbon sequestration. One of the most significant ways in which leafy greens benefit the environment is through carbon sequestration. Like other plants, they absorb carbon dioxide, CO2, from the atmosphere during photosynthesis. Leafy greens are particularly efficient at this process due to their large surface area and rapid growth. By capturing and storing carbon, they help mitigate the effects of climate change by reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Soil health and erosion prevention. Leafy greens also contribute to improving soil health and preventing erosion. Their extensive root systems anchor the soil, reducing the risk of erosion caused by wind and water. Furthermore, leafy greens are often used as cover crops, which protect the soil from harsh weather conditions and help retain moisture. The organic matter they add to the soil enhances its fertility, promoting a sustainable agricultural system. Water conservation. Water scarcity is a growing concern worldwide, making efficient water usage essential. Leafy greens are known for their high water content, but they also possess water-saving qualities. Unlike many other crops, they require relatively less water for cultivation. Additionally, their dense foliage acts as a natural shade, reducing evaporation and preserving soil moisture. By choosing leafy greens, we can contribute to water conservation efforts. Biodiversity support. The cultivation of leafy greens supports biodiversity in various ways. Traditional farming practices, such as intercropping, promote the coexistence of multiple plant species. This approach provides habitat and food sources for a wide range of beneficial insects and other organisms, fostering a balanced ecosystem. Encouraging biodiversity not only benefits the environment but also enhances natural pest control and reduces the need for synthetic pesticides. Reduced food waste. Leafy greens have a shorter shelf life compared to some other vegetables, making them more susceptible to food waste. However, by incorporating innovative solutions like vertical farming and hydroponics, we can cultivate leafy greens in urban areas, closer to the consumer. This reduces the time and distance between harvest and consumption, minimizing waste and the associated environmental impact. Air quality improvement. In addition to their carbon sequestration capabilities, leafy greens contribute to improving air quality. They absorb not only CO2 but also other pollutants such as ozone, nitrogen dioxide, and particulate matter. These pollutants, emitted from various sources including vehicles and industrial activities, have detrimental effects on human health and the environment. By planting and promoting the growth of leafy greens, we can help purify the air we breathe and reduce the negative impacts of air pollution. Nutrient cycling. Leafy greens play a vital role in nutrient cycling within ecosystems. As they grow and thrive, they extract essential nutrients from the soil, including nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. When these plants decompose, either naturally or through composting, they release these nutrients back into the soil, replenishing it for future growth. This natural nutrient cycling process reduces the need for synthetic fertilizers, which can have harmful effects on water bodies when they leach into the surrounding environment. Conservation of energy and resources. Leafy greens are generally considered as high-yield crops, meaning they produce a substantial amount of edible biomass per unit area. This efficiency translates into the conservation of energy and resources. Compared to livestock farming, which requires significant amounts of water, land, and feed, the cultivation of leafy greens demands fewer resources, making it a more sustainable option. By prioritizing plant-based diets and incorporating leafy greens into our meals, we can reduce the ecological footprint associated with food production. Climate resilience. As climate change continues to pose challenges to agriculture, leafy greens have shown resilience in adapting to changing conditions. They often require less water than crops like rice or wheat and can tolerate a broader range of temperatures. This adaptability makes leafy greens a valuable asset in building climate-resilient farming systems. By diversifying our crops to include more leafy greens, we can enhance agricultural resilience and ensure food security in the face of a changing climate. Educational and community benefits. Lastly, leafy greens offer educational and community benefits that foster environmental awareness. School and community gardens that grow leafy greens provide opportunities for hands-on learning about sustainable agriculture, nutrition, and the interconnectedness of the environment. Engaging in the cultivation and consumption of leafy greens can empower individuals and communities to make informed choices that support a greener lifestyle and a healthier planet. Urban green spaces. Leafy greens play a crucial role in creating and enhancing urban green spaces. Parks, gardens, and green rooftops that incorporate these plants provide numerous environmental benefits. They help reduce the urban heat island effect by providing shade and cooling the surrounding areas. Additionally, they improve air quality in cities by filtering pollutants and releasing oxygen. Urban green spaces with leafy greens also contribute to mental well-being by providing spaces for relaxation, exercise, and community engagement. Pollinator support. Leafy greens produce flowers that attract pollinators such as bees, butterflies, and birds. These pollinators play a vital role in plant reproduction and maintaining biodiversity. By providing a food source and habitat for pollinators, leafy greens contribute to their survival and population growth. This, in turn, supports the pollination of other plants, including food crops, ensuring the availability of diverse and healthy ecosystems. Reduced pesticide use. Compared to some other crops, leafy greens often require fewer synthetic pesticides for pest control. Their natural resistance to certain pests and diseases makes them a more sustainable option. By choosing leafy greens that are grown using organic and integrated pest management practices, consumers can reduce their exposure to harmful chemicals and support a healthier environment. Renewable energy source. In recent years, researchers have explored innovative ways to harness the potential of leafy greens as a source of renewable energy. Certain plants, such as spinach and kale, have shown promise in generating electricity through microbial fuel cells. By utilizing the photosynthetic capabilities of leafy greens, these technologies offer a sustainable and clean energy alternative that can contribute to reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Sustainable packaging. The environmental impact of packaging materials is a growing concern. Leafy greens present an opportunity for sustainable packaging solutions. Companies are exploring the use of plant-based materials derived from leafy greens, such as biodegradable films and trays, as alternatives to plastic packaging. Water retention. The leafy foliage of plants acts as a natural canopy, reducing water evaporation from the soil and enhancing water retention. This is particularly beneficial in arid regions or areas prone to drought. By growing leafy greens, we can improve the water holding capacity of the soil and reduce the need for frequent irrigation. Sustainable packaging. Leafy greens can be used as sustainable packaging materials. The leaves or stems of certain plants can be fashioned into biodegradable containers or wraps, reducing the reliance on single-use plastics. This innovative use of leafy greens contributes to waste reduction and promotes a more environmentally friendly approach to packaging. Phytoremediation. Certain leafy greens have the ability to absorb and remove pollutants from soil or water in a process called phytoremediation. They can take up heavy metals, pesticides, and other contaminants, effectively detoxifying the environment. By incorporating phytoremediation techniques with leafy greens, we can rehabilitate polluted sites and restore ecosystems. Psychological benefits. Engaging with leafy greens and nature has positive psychological benefits. Spending time in green environments, such as parks or gardens featuring leafy greens, can reduce stress, improve mood, and enhance overall well-being. The calming effect of nature contributes to our mental health and serves as a reminder of our connection to the natural world. Renewable energy generation. Some leafy greens, such as certain types of algae or aquatic plants, can be used in the production of renewable energy. Through processes like anaerobic digestion or biofuel production, these plants can be converted into biogas or biofuels, providing a sustainable and clean source of energy. Erosion control. Leafy greens, especially those with deep root systems, play a crucial role in preventing soil erosion. Their roots help bind the soil together, reducing the risk of erosion caused by wind or water. Planting leafy greens on slopes or areas prone to erosion can effectively stabilize the soil and protect against land degradation. Medicinal properties. Some leafy greens possess medicinal properties and are used in traditional medicine practices. Plants like moringa, spinach, or kale are rich in antioxidants, vitamins, and minerals that promote good health and help prevent diseases. Integrating these leafy greens into our diets can support overall wellness and contribute to natural healing processes. Sustainable livelihoods. Leafy greens offer opportunities for sustainable livelihoods, particularly in agriculture and horticulture sectors. By cultivating, processing, and selling leafy greens, individuals and communities can generate income while promoting sustainable farming practices. This can contribute to poverty alleviation and create economic resilience in rural areas. Climate change mitigation. Leafy greens contribute to climate change mitigation efforts by sequestering carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Through photosynthesis, they absorb carbon dioxide and store it in their biomass, reducing greenhouse gas concentrations. Increasing the cultivation and preservation of leafy greens can help combat climate change and its adverse effects. Air quality improvement. Leafy greens contribute to improving air quality by absorbing carbon dioxide and releasing oxygen through photosynthesis. They also filter air pollutants, such as particulate matter and volatile organic compounds, helping to reduce air pollution and create cleaner, healthier environments. Water conservation. Leafy greens typically require less water compared to other crops, making them a water-efficient choice for agriculture. By promoting the cultivation of leafy greens, we can reduce water consumption in farming and contribute to water conservation efforts, particularly in regions facing water scarcity or drought. Green infrastructure. Leafy greens are essential components of green infrastructure, such as green roofs, green walls, and urban gardens. These installations enhance the aesthetic appeal of buildings, regulate temperature, absorb rainwater, and provide habitat for wildlife. Leafy greens in green infrastructure contribute to sustainable urban development and create more resilient and livable cities. Carbon sequestration. Leafy greens, especially those with dense vegetation, have the capacity to sequester carbon from the atmosphere and store it in their biomass and soils. This carbon sequestration helps mitigate climate change by reducing greenhouse gas emissions and offsetting carbon dioxide levels. Waste reduction. Leafy greens can play a role in reducing food waste. By encouraging the consumption of leafy greens and implementing sustainable farming and distribution practices, we can minimize the amount of food that goes to waste. Food waste contributes to environmental degradation, so reducing it through leafy green consumption helps conserve resources and minimize landfill impact. Biodiversity conservation. Leafy greens contribute to biodiversity conservation by providing habitats and food sources for a wide range of organisms. The presence of diverse leafy green species supports the abundance and diversity of insects, birds, and other wildlife, contributing to the overall health and balance of ecosystems. Cultural significance. Leafy greens hold cultural significance in many societies and cuisines around the world. They are often integral to traditional dishes, festivals, and cultural practices. Preserving and promoting the cultivation of leafy greens helps safeguard cultural heritage and fosters a sense of identity and community. Greenhouse gas emission reduction. The cultivation of leafy greens generally requires less energy and emits fewer greenhouse gases compared to the production of animal-based foods. Incorporating more leafy greens into our diets can contribute to reducing greenhouse gas emissions, mitigating climate change, and promoting sustainable food systems. Microclimate regulation. Leafy greens contribute to microclimate regulation in urban environments. Through evapotranspiration, they release moisture into the air, which can help cool and humidify the surrounding environment. This microclimate regulation is particularly beneficial in urban areas with high temperatures and limited green spaces. Ecosystem services. Leafy greens provide various ecosystem services that are essential for human well-being. These include soil formation, nutrient cycling, water purification, and carbon sequestration. Recognizing and valuing these ecosystem services helps us appreciate the importance of preserving and conserving leafy green ecosystems. Aquatic habitat conservation. Leafy greens that grow in aquatic environments, such as watercress or seaweed, contribute to the conservation of aquatic habitats. They provide shelter, food, and breeding grounds for various aquatic species, promoting biodiversity and maintaining the health of aquatic ecosystems. Enhance soil fertility. Leafy greens, particularly those used in cover cropping or green manure practices, help enhance soil fertility. When these plants are incorporated into the soil, they break down, releasing nutrients and organic matter that enrich the soil. This improves soil structure, water holding capacity, and nutrient availability for future plant growth. Urban agriculture and food sovereignty. Leafy greens play a vital role in urban agriculture, allowing communities to grow fresh, nutritious food in urban settings. Urban agriculture promotes food sovereignty, empowering individuals and communities to have control over their food production and access to healthy, locally grown produce. Natural pest control. Certain leafy greens, such as companion plants or trap crops, can help control pests in an organic and environmentally friendly way. They repel harmful insects or attract them away from other crops, reducing the need for synthetic pesticides and promoting natural pest management strategies. Soil remediation. Certain leafy greens, such as sunflowers and mustard greens, have the ability to remediate contaminated soils. These plants can absorb heavy metals and pollutants from the soil, effectively cleansing the land. By incorporating these soil remediation techniques, we can restore and rehabilitate contaminated areas, improving environmental quality and supporting ecosystem recovery. Social and community benefits. Leafy greens contribute to social and community well-being by promoting healthier lifestyles and fostering a sense of connection to nature. Community gardens and urban farming initiatives centered around leafy greens provide opportunities for people to engage in physical activity, learn about sustainable agriculture, and access fresh. These initiatives also encourage social interaction, cooperation, and community empowerment. Renewable energy generation. Leafy greens can be utilized in the production of renewable energy, specifically through the process of biomass conversion. Biomass from leafy greens can be used as feedstock for bioenergy production, such as biogas or biofuel. By harnessing the energy potential of leafy greens, we can reduce reliance on fossil fuels and promote the transition to a cleaner and more sustainable energy system. Green infrastructure. Leafy greens contribute to the development of green infrastructure in urban areas. Vertical gardens, green roofs, and living walls incorporating leafy greens can help mitigate the effects of urbanization, such as heat buildup, air pollution, and stormwater runoff. These green infrastructure solutions enhance urban aesthetics, improve air quality, and provide opportunities for urban agriculture. Environmental education. Leafy greens offer a platform for environmental education, particularly in schools and educational institutions. By integrating leafy greens into curricula and educational programs, we can teach students about sustainable agriculture, nutrition, and the importance of environmental conservation. Hands-on activities, such as school gardens or community farming projects, provide practical learning experiences and instill a sense of environmental responsibility. Green roof cooling. Leafy greens planted on green roofs can help cool buildings and reduce the need for excessive air conditioning. The vegetation acts as a natural insulator, reducing heat transfer and lowering indoor temperatures. Green roofs with leafy greens contribute to energy efficiency, improve air quality, and enhance the overall comfort and well-being of building occupants. Ecological restoration. Leafy greens play a role in ecological restoration efforts, particularly in degraded or damaged ecosystems. By reintroducing native leafy green species, we can help restore biodiversity, rebuild habitats, and promote ecological resilience. These restoration projects contribute to the recovery of ecosystems and support the conservation of threatened plant species. Sustainable livestock feed. Leafy greens can be utilized as a sustainable feed source for livestock. Certain leafy greens, such as kale or spinach, can serve as nutritious and environmentally friendly alternatives to traditional animal feed ingredients. By incorporating leafy greens into livestock diets, we can reduce the environmental impact associated with conventional feed production, such as deforestation for soybean cultivation. Green fertilizers. Leafy greens can be used as green manure or compost to enrich the soil and provide natural fertilization. By incorporating leafy green residues or compost into agricultural fields, we can enhance soil fertility, improve nutrient availability, and reduce the reliance on synthetic fertilizers. This practice promotes sustainable agriculture and reduces the environmental impacts of chemical fertilizer use. Seed preservation. Leafy greens play a role in seed preservation efforts, particularly heirloom varieties or rare species. Preserving diverse seed banks of leafy greens ensures the genetic diversity and resilience of these plants. By conserving leafy green seeds, we safeguard their genetic traits, adaptability, and potential for future breeding and cultivation. Greenhouse gas reduction. Leafy greens contribute to greenhouse gas reduction through carbon sequestration and reduced methane emissions. Through photosynthesis, leafy greens absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, helping to mitigate climate change. Additionally, by substituting meat-heavy meals with plant-based leafy green options, we can reduce the production of methane, a potent greenhouse gas produced by livestock. Medicinal properties. Some leafy greens possess medicinal properties and are used in traditional medicine. For example, herbs like cilantro or parsley have detoxifying and anti-inflammatory properties. By recognizing and utilizing the medicinal potential of leafy greens, we can promote natural remedies, reduce reliance on synthetic drugs, and foster a more holistic approach to healthcare. Water conservation. Leafy greens can contribute to water conservation efforts in agriculture. By practicing efficient irrigation techniques and employing technologies such as drip irrigation, the water requirements of leafy greens can be optimized. This reduces water waste and promotes responsible water management in farming, particularly in regions prone to water scarcity. Greenhouse gas emissions reduction. Leafy greens, especially when grown using sustainable farming practices, can help reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Sustainable farming methods such as organic farming or regenerative agriculture promote soil health, which in turn enhances carbon sequestration in the soil. By adopting these practices in leafy green production, we can mitigate the release of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. Erosion prevention. The extensive root systems of leafy greens help prevent soil erosion. By anchoring the soil and reducing surface runoff, leafy greens play a crucial role in maintaining soil stability. This is especially important in areas with sloping terrain or regions susceptible to erosion due to heavy rainfall. Preserving and promoting the growth of leafy greens contributes to soil conservation and prevents land degradation. Reduced energy consumption. Compared to other agricultural crops, leafy greens typically require less energy for production and processing. They have shorter growth cycles and generally have lower energy inputs. By incorporating leafy greens into agricultural systems, we can reduce the overall energy consumption associated with food production and contribute to a more sustainable and efficient food. Sustainable land use. Leafy greens offer an opportunity for sustainable land use practices. Vertical farming, hydroponics, or aquaponics systems can be employed to grow leafy greens in urban areas or limited spaces. These innovative farming methods maximize land utilization, reduce the need for land conversion, and enable year-round production, ensuring a more efficient use of resources. Waste reduction and recycling. Leafy greens can contribute to waste reduction and recycling efforts. In households, leftover or wilted leafy greens can be composted instead of being thrown away as trash. Composting leafy greens diverts organic waste from landfills, reduces methane emissions, and produces nutrient-rich compost that can be used to enrich soil in gardens or agricultural fields. Air quality improvement. Leafy greens play a role in improving air quality by absorbing pollutants and releasing oxygen. Through photosynthesis, they remove carbon dioxide and other harmful gases from the air, helping to reduce air pollution. Incorporating leafy greens in urban environments and green spaces can help mitigate the negative effects of air pollution and enhance the overall air quality. Noise reduction. Leafy greens can contribute to noise reduction, particularly in urban areas. The dense foliage of trees and plants, including leafy greens, helps absorb and block sound, reducing noise pollution. Cultural and culinary significance. Leafy greens have cultural and culinary significance in various cuisines around the world. They are integral ingredients in traditional dishes and are often celebrated for their unique flavors and textures. By preserving and promoting the cultivation of these leafy greens, we can honor cultural diversity, support local economies, and preserve culinary traditions. Resilient landscaping. Leafy greens can be utilized in resilient landscaping practices, particularly in regions prone to climate extremes or environmental challenges. Their adaptability to different growing conditions and their ability to thrive in diverse environments make them valuable components of sustainable landscaping projects. By incorporating leafy greens in resilient landscape designs, we can create aesthetically pleasing spaces that are better equipped to withstand climate change impacts. Green jobs and economic opportunities. The cultivation and distribution of leafy greens create employment opportunities and contribute to the growth of green industries. From farmers and agricultural workers to food processors, distributors, and retailers, the leafy green sector supports a wide range of jobs. By investing in sustainable agriculture and promoting the consumption of leafy greens, we can stimulate local economies and foster a green workforce. Air pollution reduction. Leafy greens help mitigate air pollution by absorbing pollutants such as carbon dioxide, ozone, and particulate matter through their leaves. By planting and maintaining green spaces with abundant leafy greens, we can improve air quality, especially in urban areas where air pollution is a pressing concern. This has direct benefits for human health and reduces the environmental impacts associated with poor air quality. Wildlife conservation. Leafy greens provide vital habitat and food sources for numerous wildlife species, including insects, birds, and small mammals. By preserving and promoting the growth of leafy greens, we support the conservation of biodiversity and contribute to the overall health of ecosystems. Protecting wildlife and their habitats is crucial for maintaining ecological balance and ensuring the long-term sustainability of our planet. Soil health and nutrient cycling. Leafy greens play a significant role in maintaining soil health and nutrient cycling. Their root systems help improve soil structure, prevent erosion, and increase organic matter content. As leafy greens grow and eventually decompose, they release nutrients back into the soil, enriching it for future plant growth. By incorporating leafy greens into crop rotations and practicing sustainable farming techniques, we can enhance soil fertility and reduce the need for synthetic fertilizers. Climate change resilience. Leafy greens contribute to climate change resilience by enhancing ecosystem resilience and supporting carbon sequestration. Healthy ecosystems, with abundant leafy greens, are more resilient to the impacts of climate change, such as extreme weather events and shifting temperature patterns. Additionally, leafy greens actively absorb and store carbon dioxide, reducing its concentration in the atmosphere and mitigating the greenhouse effect. Urban heat island mitigation. Leafy greens play a crucial role in mitigating the urban heat island effect. The dense foliage of trees and plants, including leafy greens, provides shade and reduces surface temperatures in urban areas. By incorporating green spaces and planting leafy greens in cities, we can create cooler microclimates, decrease energy consumption for cooling, and enhance overall urban livability. Pollinator support. Leafy greens, especially those that produce flowers, serve as valuable food sources for pollinators such as bees, butterflies, and birds. By cultivating a diverse range of leafy greens, we provide nourishment and habitat for these essential pollinators. This, in turn, contributes to the pollination of other plant species, supporting biodiversity and the overall health of ecosystems. Carbon offsetting. Leafy greens contribute to carbon offsetting efforts by sequestering carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Through photosynthesis, they convert carbon dioxide into oxygen, storing carbon in their biomass and the soil. By promoting the growth and preservation of leafy greens, we can help offset carbon emissions and mitigate the impacts of climate change. Water filtration. Certain leafy greens have natural filtration properties that can purify water bodies. They can absorb excess nutrients, sediment, and pollutants, improving water quality and protecting aquatic ecosystems. Utilizing leafy greens in constructed wetlands or riparian buffer zones can enhance water filtration capabilities and contribute to ecosystem restoration. Green waste reduction. Leafy greens can play a role in reducing green waste and promoting sustainable waste management practices. By utilizing edible leafy greens that are often discarded, such as beet greens or radish greens, in cooking and food preparation, we minimize food waste. Additionally, leftover leafy greens or trimmings can be composted, reducing the amount of organic waste that goes to landfills. Nutrient recycling. Leafy greens contribute to nutrient recycling in agricultural systems. Through their uptake of essential nutrients from the soil, leafy greens help prevent nutrient runoff and leaching, which can lead to water pollution. By incorporating leafy greens in crop rotations or utilizing their biomass as organic fertilizer, we can optimize nutrient cycling and minimize the need for synthetic fertilizers. Natural pest control. Certain leafy greens, such as marigolds and basil, have natural pest repellent properties. These plants emit compounds that deter pests and can be used as companion plants to protect other crops. By incorporating these pest repellent leafy greens in agricultural practices, we can reduce the reliance on chemical pesticides, promoting safer and more environmentally friendly pest control methods. Education and awareness. Leafy greens offer an opportunity to educate and raise awareness about sustainable agriculture and environmental stewardship. By highlighting the environmental benefits of leafy greens and promoting their consumption, we can empower individuals to make informed choices that positively impact the environment. Educational programs and initiatives can foster a sense of environmental responsibility and encourage sustainable practices. Ecotourism and recreational opportunities. Leafy green landscapes, such as forests and botanical gardens, attract visitors and provide opportunities for ecotourism and recreational activities. People can engage in activities like hiking, birdwatching, and nature photography, fostering a deeper connection with nature. By preserving and promoting leafy green spaces, we can create economic opportunities through tourism while promoting environmental conservation. Global collaboration and partnerships. Recognizing the importance of leafy greens in environmental sustainability requires global collaboration and partnerships. By sharing knowledge, best practices, and research findings, we can collectively work towards harnessing the potential of leafy greens for positive environmental impact. Collaborative efforts can lead to innovative solutions, policy changes, and greater awareness of the role of leafy greens in building a sustainable future. Sustainable packaging. Leafy greens can contribute to sustainable packaging solutions. Instead of using single-use plastic bags or containers, eco-friendly alternatives such as compostable or biodegradable packaging made from plant-based materials can be utilized. By adopting sustainable packaging options for leafy greens, we can reduce plastic waste and promote a more environmentally friendly approach to food packaging. Carbon footprint reduction. Leafy greens have a lower carbon footprint compared to animal-based foods. The production and transportation of leafy greens require fewer resources and generate fewer greenhouse gas emissions. By incorporating leafy greens into our diets and reducing our consumption of meat and dairy products, we can significantly reduce our individual carbon footprints and contribute to mitigating climate. Food security and resilience. Leafy greens play a vital role in ensuring food security and building resilient food systems. They are often fast-growing and can be cultivated in various climates and environments, making them a reliable source of fresh produce. Mental and emotional well-being. Leafy greens have a positive impact on mental and emotional well-being. Being in green spaces or surrounded by nature, including leafy greens, has been shown to reduce stress, improve mood, and enhance overall mental health. Spending time in gardens, parks, or forests that feature leafy greens can provide a much-needed respite from the demands of daily life. Biodiversity conservation. Leafy greens contribute to biodiversity conservation by providing habitat and food sources for various organisms. They support a diverse range of insects, birds, and other wildlife, promoting ecological balance. By preserving natural habitats or creating green spaces with diverse leafy greens, we can protect and enhance biodiversity in our environments. Green transportation. Leafy greens can play a role in promoting green transportation options. Urban areas can incorporate green corridors or bike lanes lined with leafy greens, encouraging cycling or walking as alternative modes of transportation. This reduces reliance on fossil fuel-powered vehicles, decreases traffic congestion, and improves air quality. Sustainable textiles. Certain leafy greens, such as hemp or bamboo, can be used as sustainable alternatives to traditional textiles. These plants require fewer pesticides, fertilizers, and water compared to conventional crops like cotton. By promoting the use of leafy green fibers in the textile industry, we can reduce the environmental impact of textile production. Ecological research and conservation. Leafy greens serve as important subjects for ecological research and conservation efforts. Studying their growth patterns, interactions with other organisms, and responses to environmental changes provides valuable insights into ecosystem dynamics. By supporting research and conservation initiatives focused on leafy greens, we can deepen our understanding of ecosystems and work towards their protection. Sustainable urban planning. Leafy greens are essential in sustainable urban planning and design. Incorporating parks, green spaces, and rooftop gardens with diverse leafy greens improves urban aesthetics, promotes biodiversity, and enhances the overall livability of cities. By prioritizing the integration of leafy greens in urban planning, we can create healthier and more sustainable urban environments. Water filtration. Certain leafy greens, such as watercress or lettuce, have the ability to filter and purify water. They can remove pollutants and excess nutrients from water bodies, acting as natural water purifiers. Incorporating these leafy greens in constructed wetlands or using them in water treatment systems can help improve water quality and protect aquatic ecosystems. Economic opportunities. Leafy greens present economic opportunities, particularly in the agricultural sector. Growing, processing, and distributing leafy greens can create jobs and support local economies. Furthermore, the demand for organic and locally grown leafy greens is increasing, providing opportunities for sustainable farming practices and market development. Sustainable pest management. Leafy greens offer opportunities for sustainable pest management strategies. By utilizing companion planting, biological control methods, or integrated pest management techniques, we can reduce the reliance on synthetic pesticides. This not only protects the environment and beneficial insects but also ensures the safety and quality of leafy green produce. Wildlife habitat creation. Leafy greens contribute to the creation of wildlife habitats, especially in urban and suburban areas. Gardens, parks, or green spaces featuring diverse leafy greens provide shelter, food sources, and breeding grounds for birds, butterflies, and other wildlife. Incorporating these habitats in urban planning supports urban biodiversity and ecological connectivity. Climate change adaptation. Leafy greens play a role in climate change adaptation efforts. As climate patterns shift, certain leafy green varieties can be selected and cultivated to withstand changing environmental conditions. By promoting climate-resilient leafy greens and adopting adaptive farming practices, we can increase agricultural resilience and ensure food security in the face of climate change. Soil health improvement. Leafy greens contribute to soil health improvement through their root systems and organic matter production. Their extensive root systems help improve soil structure, enhance nutrient cycling, and increase water infiltration. Leafy greens also add organic matter to the soil when their leaves or residues decompose, enhancing soil fertility and promoting a healthy soil ecosystem. Carbon footprint reduction. By incorporating leafy greens into our diets and reducing our consumption of animal products, we can effectively reduce our carbon footprint. The production of leafy greens generally requires fewer resources, emits fewer greenhouse gases, and has a lower environmental impact compared to the production of meat and dairy products. Choosing leafy greens as a sustainable food option can significantly contribute to mitigating climate change. Food security. Leafy greens play a crucial role in ensuring food security, particularly in regions where access to nutritious food is limited. They are often affordable, easy to grow, and provide essential vitamins and minerals. Promoting the cultivation and consumption of leafy greens can help address food insecurity and improve nutrition in vulnerable populations. Green waste management. Leafy greens can be utilized in green waste management systems. Municipalities can collect and compost leafy green residues from households, restaurants, or food processing facilities, diverting them from landfills. This reduces the volume of waste, decreases methane emissions, and produces nutrient-rich compost that can be used for agricultural purposes. Ecotourism and recreation. Leafy greens contribute to ecotourism and recreational activities. Natural areas featuring lush leafy green landscapes, such as national parks or botanical gardens, attract tourists and provide opportunities for outdoor recreation. These spaces offer educational experiences, promote environmental appreciation, and generate economic benefits for local communities. Urban heat island mitigation. Leafy greens can help mitigate the urban heat island effect. By providing shade and reducing surface temperatures, they help to cool urban areas and combat the heat buildup associated with concrete and asphalt. Incorporating leafy greens in urban landscapes can create microclimates that are more comfortable and energy efficient, reducing the need for excessive air conditioning. Nutrient cycling. Leafy greens contribute to nutrient cycling in ecosystems. Through their uptake of nutrients from the soil and subsequent incorporation into organic matter, they help recycle essential elements, such as nitrogen and phosphorus. This cycling process supports overall ecosystem health and reduces the reliance on synthetic fertilizers. Green roof and wall systems. Leafy greens can be incorporated into green roof and wall systems, also known as living roofs and green facades. These systems utilize plants, including leafy greens, to provide insulation, reduce energy consumption, improve air quality, and enhance the aesthetics of buildings. Green roofs and walls contribute to urban greening and sustainable building practices. Education and awareness. Leafy greens offer opportunities for education and raising awareness about sustainable agriculture, nutrition, and environmental stewardship. Schools, community organizations, and educational institutions can incorporate leafy green cultivation and gardening programs to teach students about food production, healthy eating habits. Social and cultural benefits. Leafy greens have social and cultural benefits that extend beyond their environmental impact. Ecotourism and recreational opportunities. Leafy greens and their natural habitats can attract ecotourism and provide recreational opportunities. Forests, parks, and nature reserves that are rich in leafy greens offer visitors a chance to immerse themselves in the beauty of nature. Hiking, birdwatching, and nature photography are popular activities that not only promote physical and mental well-being but also foster a deeper appreciation for the environment. Ecotourism initiatives centered around leafy greens can generate economic benefits for local communities while encouraging conservation efforts. Carbon footprint reduction. Leafy greens can contribute to reducing our carbon footprint in multiple ways. By opting for locally grown and seasonal leafy greens, we decrease the transportation distances and associated emissions. Additionally, incorporating more plant-based meals, with leafy greens as a staple, reduces the demand for meat production, which is resource-intensive and contributes significantly to greenhouse gas. By making conscious choices about our food consumption, we can lower our carbon footprint and mitigate climate change. Composting and organic waste management. Leafy greens, along with other organic waste, can be composted and transformed into nutrient-rich soil amendments. Composting reduces the volume of waste sent to landfills and minimizes the production of harmful greenhouse gases, such as methane. By composting leafy greens and utilizing the resulting compost in gardens and agriculture, we close the nutrient cycle and promote sustainable waste management practices. Environmental education and awareness. Leafy greens provide an excellent platform for environmental education and raising awareness about sustainable practices. Schools, community centers, and organizations can incorporate leafy greens into educational programs, teaching individuals about the importance of biodiversity, conservation, and sustainable. By instilling a sense of environmental responsibility in future generations, we can foster a collective commitment to protecting our planet. Policy and advocacy. Leafy greens and their environmental benefits can serve as a basis for policy development and advocacy. Governments and organizations can implement policies that support sustainable agriculture, promote urban green spaces, and encourage the adoption of plant-based diets. By advocating for these policies and raising awareness about the positive impact of leafy greens, individuals and communities can contribute to shaping a more environmentally conscious society. Sustainable water management. Leafy greens can contribute to sustainable water management practices. Through practices such as drip irrigation and efficient watering techniques, water usage can be optimized in leafy green cultivation. These practices minimize water wastage and ensure that the plants receive adequate moisture while reducing the strain on water resources. By implementing sustainable water management strategies in leafy green production, we can conserve this precious resource for future generations. Phytoremediation. Certain leafy greens have the remarkable ability to absorb and break down pollutants in the soil and water through a process called phytoremediation. They can remove heavy metals, pesticides, and other harmful substances from contaminated sites, effectively detoxifying the environment. By utilizing leafy greens in phytoremediation projects, we can rehabilitate polluted areas and restore ecological balance. Green infrastructure. Leafy greens can be incorporated into green infrastructure projects to enhance the sustainability and resilience of urban areas. Green roofs, vertical gardens, and living walls adorned with leafy greens provide numerous benefits. They improve air quality, reduce energy consumption by providing insulation, mitigate stormwater runoff by absorbing rainfall, and create urban habitats for birds and insects. By integrating leafy greens into urban planning, we can transform cities into greener, more livable spaces. Traditional medicine and health benefits. Many leafy greens have been used in traditional medicine systems for centuries due to their health-promoting properties. These plants contain various phytochemicals and antioxidants that contribute to overall well-being. By incorporating leafy greens into our diets, we can support our immune system, improve digestion, and reduce the risk of chronic diseases. The promotion of natural remedies derived from leafy greens not only benefits human health but also reduces reliance on synthetic pharmaceuticals that can have adverse environmental impacts. Global food security. Leafy greens play a crucial role in ensuring global food security. Their fast growth rate and high yield make them an efficient crop for feeding a growing population. Leafy greens are often affordable and accessible, providing a nutritious food source for diverse communities worldwide. By promoting sustainable and inclusive agricultural practices that prioritize leafy greens, we can work towards eliminating hunger and ensuring food security for all. Greenhouse gas mitigation. Leafy greens contribute to greenhouse gas mitigation through their role in sustainable farming practices. By practicing agroforestry and incorporating leafy greens in crop rotations, farmers can improve soil health and sequester carbon dioxide. Furthermore, avoiding the use of synthetic fertilizers and pesticides in leafy green cultivation reduces the release of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. These sustainable farming methods help mitigate climate change and promote a more environmentally friendly agricultural system. Wildlife habitat. Leafy greens provide essential habitat for a variety of wildlife, including insects, birds, and small mammals. The dense foliage and diverse plant structure create shelter, nesting sites, and feeding opportunities for these creatures. By cultivating and preserving areas with abundant leafy greens, we support biodiversity and contribute to the overall health of ecosystems. Medicinal and therapeutic uses. Certain leafy greens have medicinal and therapeutic properties that can be beneficial for both humans and animals. These plants contain bioactive compounds that have been used in traditional medicine for their healing properties. From soothing inflammation to boosting immune function, leafy greens offer a natural and sustainable approach to healthcare. Reduced energy consumption. Leafy greens require less energy input compared to the production of animal-based foods. Livestock farming, including the production of meat and dairy, has a significant energy footprint due to factors such as feed production, transportation, and processing. By choosing leafy greens as a primary food source or incorporating them into plant-based diets, we can reduce overall energy consumption and lessen our environmental impact. Circular economy and waste reduction. Leafy greens can be a valuable component of a circular economy by minimizing waste and maximizing resource efficiency. Food waste can be transformed into compost, which, in turn, can be used to nourish the soil for future leafy green cultivation. By closing the loop and reducing waste generation, we can create a more sustainable and regenerative food system. Water conservation. Leafy greens can play a role in water conservation efforts. Through practices such as mulching and proper irrigation techniques, water usage in leafy green production can be minimized. Additionally, selecting drought-tolerant varieties of leafy greens can reduce the need for excessive watering. By practicing water-efficient methods in leafy green cultivation, we can conserve this precious resource and ensure its availability for other essential needs. Erosion control. Leafy greens, particularly those with dense root systems, can help control soil erosion. When planted in areas prone to erosion, their roots hold the soil together, preventing it from being washed away by rainfall or strong winds. This helps maintain soil fertility, reduces sedimentation in water bodies, and protects the overall ecosystem. Noise and visual pollution reduction. Leafy greens, when strategically planted, can act as natural barriers to reduce noise pollution and block unsightly views.